Whether you're still working from home like me, or you've just lost the will to wear real clothes, today's video is for you. We're going to talk about small upgrades that you can make to your daily uniform to make you feel more put together and breathe some life into your past caring pandemic wardrobe while retaining the zero effort sweatpant vibe. Before we get started, I just want to thank Polonis for sponsoring today's video. Last month, Polonis sent me some of their compact radiators. I've used them all over the house. They're really portable. I've even used them at my mum's house when I went to dog sit, and they're perfect for times when you really only need to heat one room. Working from home is obviously a great example. I usually rely on blankets and jumpers, but it's been so cold. I was grateful for this radiator this week. They're small but mighty with a volcano fast heating technique that rapidly spreads heat evenly without leaving my winter skin feeling even more dry in a way that a fan heater might. There's a 24-hour timer and a precise temperature control, but also the vintage look really just sets it apart from others that you might be able to get. So thanks to Polonis for keeping my office cozy in this super cold weather. And now back to the video. So I went to Instagram and I asked this. What are you wearing right now? What do you gravitate towards on a daily basis that makes you feel comfortable, that you're just kind of like sliding into as a uniform? What are you wearing on a daily basis? And these were the responses. Most of us are obviously still dressing for comfort who are at home most of the time, but for me personally, it's feeling less like a break from the daily grind and more like I just don't care about myself anymore. I mentioned to my husband the other day, this is going to sound so ridiculous, but I said he smells nice all the time, and I can't remember the last time that I actually reached for perfume. It's just like a daily habit that I used to have that made me feel good. Why am I not wearing perfume anymore? He is definitely the kind of person who, no matter what, would always get up and get dressed. It doesn't matter what he does for a living, it doesn't matter what he's doing that day. He couldn't have a pajama day. It's not in him. And I'm not that person. I realize some people were like that throughout the lockdown, and that's fantastic. If you're one of those people, aces, amazing. I think it's brilliant that someone can actually make themselves get up and get dressed because they know that's going to make them feel better. I am not that person, and I know that a lot of you are not that person either, and I'm guessing that's why you're watching this video. My boss actually asked me for a photo for a work thing yesterday, and I said any photo I send is going to be like a LinkedIn catfish profile, because since working from home, I do not look like that anymore. I absolutely would never ever have gone to work with no makeup on, and now I'm doing Teams calls in my pajamas with no makeup on, looking the worst I could possibly look. Like, no, zero effort. And while the whole period of time where I've been doing that, I've definitely detached my self-esteem from the way that I look and my personal appearance, which is great. And I definitely have some more confidence in my bare face. I feel totally fine going out with no makeup on now. At the same time, I do realise that when I do make more effort, I do feel better about myself, which makes me feel a little bit ashamed, truly, because we're all supposed to feel fantastic in ourselves, and we're supposed to not need makeup and not need to, gussy ourselves up to feel good. But it still does make me feel good. I am going to try and reframe that in my mind as more of a, it makes me feel good to actually care about myself. But let's be real, I do enjoy my face with makeup on it. So with that in mind, I'm going to share my personal go-to for feeling more like my 2019 self with a 2022 no effort vibe. Let's wake up a bit first, shall we? Let's get some dry shampoo in that hair that will absolutely need washing tonight, and some makeup on that face. I hate to admit it, but I am more confident when I'm wearing mascara. And this is always a great tip as well when you're trying things on, especially something new. In my experience, tired eyes and unbrushed hair can really have an impact on how much I like a pair of jeans. So my day-to-day uniform is baggy jumpers and joggers inside with a switch to leggings if I leave the house. Because in 2022, leggings are the formal option. My go-to upgrade is an all-black base, always. I love a stretchy vest top, and my beloved long cardigans. They make me feel really chic and put together, but I'm just as comfy as I was in my joggers or even my pajamas. So soft and cozy. And if I've got a Teams call at work, I also am kind of like actually dressed, My upgrade from this is a knitted jumper of some kind and my stretchy fleece-lined leather leggings. Not real leather. From New Look, I've mentioned them a million times. Again, they are so comfy, but with heels, they are legitimately dressy. And I can do all of the kind of activities that I could possibly do in leggings. This is not groundbreaking stuff, I realise, and what works for me may not work for you. obviously. You know, we may have completely different styles. You might not even like leggings. Imagine. But I just hope that this serves as a reminder that small changes can make a massive impact. We've been waiting for this to be over for a really long time now. And although we can't control the world, we can control our small environment and how we choose to live in it. And for you, if sitting in joggers all day makes you feel good and you don't think that that needs to change, amazing. I feel you. On a daily basis, I'm kind of cool with that. I do think that there are small changes. I could sit with my joggers on and put on a vest top and put on a cardigan and still feel more put together than if I just wear a sweatshirt. There is, you know, there's some give and take here if I want to keep the joggers. But I'm guessing that if you're watching this video, you feel like you need a change. Put on some real clothes. They don't have to be jeans. They don't have to be jeans. Just something that feels like real clothes, whatever that is to you. See how you feel. I draw the line at underwide bras. Maybe in 2023. If you're still with me, I wanted to mention the book that I wrote. This is not a plug. If you follow me and you haven't bought this, several years old, you never will. Although I think you can usually get quite a good deal on it on Kindle, and there's lots of pictures, which by the way I illustrated. But again, not a plug. I just wanted to mention it because it's quite in keeping with what we've been talking about, and I wanted to read something from it. But I also have quite a few copies of this, so I've decided, since I pulled it off the bookshelf to talk about it, I'm going to give one of these away. It's called Lifestyling, and the whole theme of the book is styling the phase of life that you're in right now. It's not a style book so much as I would say it leans more towards self-help, truly. When the pandemic hit, it felt like everybody got shuffled into a new phase of life that they weren't expecting. And a lot of people now are working from home that were never expecting to before. And I do talk about in the book that I'm not the kind of person who likes to get dressed if they don't need to. And as we have discussed, that's perhaps something that I need to be working on, given that this phase of life means that I could probably live in my pajamas most of the time, and that wouldn't necessarily be great for my productivity. The section I want to read is in chapter 2. It's called Starting Over. Let's get real. It's quite possible that your current as-is style isn't entirely what you imagine it to be. In your mind, you might be a colourful and vibrant person, but in reality, you might reach for more black than you realise. Maybe you think you're dressing for comfort when in fact your clothes are ill-fitting and as a result unflattering. These are the first examples that come to my mind because they're discoveries that I made about my own style when I documented what I wore every day for a month. My first thought when looking at the 30-day overview was that I do not get dressed unless I must. I've read countless self-help books that tell you the most productive people get up early, make their bed, get dressed every single morning no matter what. I would love to tell you that I get up at 5 a.m. and have an off-duty jeans and t-shirt combo that I slip into before tying my hair into a messy bun, slicking on some gloss and heading out for the school run. I do not. Fun fact, several years ago at school drop-off, I was waving off my daughter and about to walk home when another mum stopped me. Hadn't really spoken much to the other parents since they all seemed to know one another and I was a solid 10 years younger than most. It's more varied now, but at that time it was very much the minority to be a young mum. So it took me by surprise. She didn't make much small talk before asking me, "Who do you live with?" To give a little context, I was 9 months pregnant at the time. My daughter was 6, so this woman had seen me at school for more than a year. And whether this was just her question or a collective inquiry, I'll never know. Nor will I know her true motivation. But after answering my husband and not having much else to say, we parted ways. It wasn't until years later that I realised what I assume she was really asking. I looked young for my age as it was, but I had no glam routine to walk the 2 minutes from my house to go to school. She assumed that I was either too young or at least of too little means to live independently from my parents in an affluent area. This isn't something that bothers me a stitch now, but at the time, the playground politics really got to me. Now I look around at pickup and I see the glam mums chatting, the working mums brushing, the mums who have come however they were dressed at home. That'd be me! And of course the dads who don't seem to be nearly as concerned by any of this as we do. Just because I turn up to school in my pyjamas, joke, I haven't yet, the minute Milo is old enough for me to drop him off curbside, I will consider it to be a legitimate option. Doesn't mean I don't care about what I wear. Just because I go barefaced to the supermarket doesn't mean I don't love, and I mean truly love, a new lipstick. It just means that I didn't prioritise those things on that day. What I learned from my outfit experiment was that I could probably use a uniform to fall back on those lazy days. But more than that, I learned that comfort is my motivator. Oh, and I'm never going to iron anything, so I'll stop buying things that need ironing. Overall, my point there is that you really need to get real with yourself and know truly what you are prepared to do. Don't go into the hairdressers with a picture of a haircut that you're going to need to style every single day, otherwise it looks terrible. If you are not prepared to style your hair every day, don't buy clothes that need ironing if you don't want to iron. Know yourself, make small adjustments that will still fit in with who you are, the life that you live, and your comfort levels. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back on Friday with another video. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. And if you do want to be in with a chance to win this exact copy of my book, then leave me a comment below and let me know what small upgrade you're going to be making to your wardrobe to make you feel a little bit like your old self, if your old self is who you want to be, or your new self, your slightly improved self, your slightly more awake and possibly more dressed self in 2022.